Paul wrote a deep truth to the churches in Galatia when he wrote these words. We see them written in chapter 2, verses 20 and 21. He says, I've been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. When I was a boy, I used to watch the series The Adventures of Superman on television. And at the beginning of every episode, we would hear these words, Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. I thought about how great it would be to have that kind of power. Of course, that was just entertainment, some fantasy for us kids. But we would run around with a bath towel tied around our necks and play Superman. Of course, we never leapt tall buildings, flew faster than a speeding bullet, or had more power than a locomotive. Yes, Superman had supernatural power. Yet the question that we must ponder is this: is supernatural power something available today, or is it just something that lies in fantasy land? Now, there are some today who exhibit great power. There are professional athletes who do things that for the normal person are seemingly impossible. There are some with great intellect, like Albert Einstein, whose intellectual capacity in the area of physics was far beyond the average person. Yet all of these who have existed in history, they still do not rise to the level of strength and ability that cannot be surpassed. For a second, let us look at the mission that we have to reach the world with the gospel. Let us consider the high calling that we have and what that means to each and every one of us. Is it possible for mortal men to accomplish such a mission? Such a calling and such a mission transcends our mortal capabilities. If we truly understood how this works, we would understand that our high calling and mission are indeed supernatural. They are ones that go beyond the realm of the material. And for us to be what we're supposed to be and to do what we're supposed to do requires supernatural power, which seems impossible. And Paul understood this need for supernatural power. Moreover, he experienced it. And he wrote to the Galatians about it, and he said, to live the Christian life in regards to the high calling we have, we need God's grace. That's what he was speaking about. But Paul understood this, and he communicated to the Galatians when he wrote these words, I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I live now, I live in the flesh. I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. In this verse, we see tremendous theological truth. It is a truth that explains how Paul did the work of taking the gospel message to the remote regions. In this passage, we see that Paul had a supernatural power necessary to do the mighty work assigned. And he indicated that he had died with Christ, and it was not he who lived, but Christ who lived in him. He no longer lived by faith in his own strength and ability. No, not at all. His ability and strength transcended the natural into the supernatural. It was the power of Christ in him that made the difference. And now Paul lived by faith in the risen Lord who lived within him. But what does this mean to us? It means this same supernatural power that Paul experienced now dwells in every true believer in Jesus Christ. This power entered at the moment of saving faith and has never left us. Only now we must live by faith in Jesus to experience his power at work in us. His power dwells in our fleshly bodies. Yet we must trust him, not only for our own salvation, but also for the power necessary to fulfill the high calling and the mission that he has given us in life. But we can do that. We just learn how to live and to work at living by faith. Think about those words, and we're going to see more about that as we go through the rest of the study of this letter to the Galatians.